Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this week's Trade the Chain AMA. I'm joined here by Senior Market Analyst Monte, Senior Market Analyst CJ, Director of Research Nick Mancini, as well as Chief Community Officer. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I know this is two new faces on for this week, and we want to go through with what's happened. If you live under a rock and you haven't heard this massive news, we'll explain what is happening and why Monte and CJ are here. As well as we're going to touch on the markets. We're going to go through the three of these guys are going to go through some individual points on that. And then after that, I'm going to do a rundown. I'm going to do a walkthrough of the Trade the Chain sentiment portion of the platform. So that way, anybody who's new can kind of get a feel for where everything is, all the different features and all the different data. And if you have any questions, we do have, I believe, a live chat that you can ask while we do this. Also, I just want to remind everybody, this is the first time we're using StreamYard for our webinar platform rather than Zoom. So it may be a little clunky. We may look like fools, make mistakes here and there. But just bear with us. We'll make sure we get better for next week. So thanks again for joining us. I'm going to start off with Nick. Before I start off with Nick, let me just also remind everybody, check your emails. You get a lot of actionable and powerful emails from us almost every day throughout the course of the week. So we don't send crap out. We send stuff that's meaningful and concise and actionable. One of the emails that we did send out was our new show scheduling. So if you, I don't know if you guys are normally watching YouTube and if you come from Market Rebellion, let's say, over to us, we have a whole channel dedicated. We have a new show lineup, and I will show that real quick right here. This is the let's see here. This is the show lineup. We have a couple different ones going on. We have 3 different shows, over 10 episodes each single week. Okay. First one is going to be the morning session one, which is Money in Motion. That's going to be with CJ and with Monte. You're going to start your day off with that one. They're going to give you all the relevant information you need to know right after the market opens and moving forward into the noon hour. After that, you have Squawk Box with Nick Mancini. He's going to give you your midday market analysis, and that's going to be, by the way, both these shows are not just for crypto. They're going to be for all parts of the market. You have equities, commodities, futures, you name it. They're going to go through it, as well as macroeconomic indicators such as any of the prints that are coming out or anybody speaking with the Feds. The third show is Trading Rebellion. We've been running Trading Rebellion in partnership with Market Rebellion back since I think April, when CJ and Monte joined us for that. That's the 4 of us on that show, and we go through just about everything you can imagine in the markets, including news and sometimes some really bad jokes. But Trading Rebellion is a great, well-rounded show. So there you go. You should have gotten that email. If you haven't been receiving our emails, please definitely check your spam box and make sure that we're greenlit in your provider so we can get through. Also, well, I'll explain the community after we do the run through. Monte's starting to chuckle at me anyway. Nick Mancini, what do you got for us today to kick it off?
Yes, sir. So before we dig into any price action, probably good to explain the macro situation and the big data print that came this morning. Very positive data print, I should say, but we'll have to see how it fleshes out, and we will discuss that later on in the session. So today at 8:30 a.m., June CPI data was released. It fell to 3% from 4%, so a big drop from May to June, and that is below expectations of 3.1%. So very positive for the market. Now, I think the even more important information is core CPI falling to 4.8. I believe it was at 5.3% for May. So a big 0.5% drop there, and it's actually below expectations of 5%. And remember, we look at the inflation data prints as bullish if they are at or less than expectations. And that is the exact number that we got. Now, the tricky information, and I'm sure CJ or Monte will discuss, what we're looking at on the equities chart. But what I talked about on the B3 radio show yesterday, and we, of course, always let the TTC members know when that show is happening every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But I mentioned that the 31K level was, very critical resistance and would take a large injection of liquidity to break above it. Now, my thesis was shorting the 31K level back down towards 30K or at least 30.5K. And that trade did complete. It actually completed very quickly in the morning. So if you didn't catch that, I wouldn't feel too bad. That was, a very snap trade, but the general idea did work out. So now we're hovering right around the weekly VWAP. We did break below the previous daily close of 30.6. So if the weekly VWAP fails, I would expect this to end up seeping lower towards the 30K level. But if the weekly VWAP does end up holding, and we can crack back above this 30.6K level, then we may end up revisiting 31K by Thursday or potentially Friday. Now, the big red herring that I'm looking for is PPI data tomorrow. PPI is the producer sister to the CPI's, consumer focus. So PPI pertains to producer inflation. Now, it's actually expected to increase, meaning that producers may be paying more in June, which may mean that consumers may pay more in July, because remember, there's going to be a delay effect. If producers are paying more money, consumers are as well, because we're in capitalism and companies need to make their money and increase the profit margins. So something that I'm looking out for as a potential worry sign that could bring us down to the 30K level, possibly 29.5, is basically the inverse of a good CPI print, which would be a bad PPI print. So that's something that I'm looking out for tomorrow. And I think, just like we were looking for a 31K tap on a good print with a rejection, tomorrow, if the data comes in as expected, meaning PPI is higher than expected, then I would expect a drop to 30K with a swift buyback to mid 30K, basically the inverse of the move we saw today. So we are in the dead center of the Monday range. And I'll draw the fib chart for you to show you how technical this range has been trading. We have near perfect taps on every single Fibonacci level. And this is the picture perfect scenario of technical trading. So therefore, I'm seeing the low down here at 29.9. The high is up here at 31. I'm trying to long the lows and I'm shorting the highs until we see a break. I do not want any part of trading in here. I tried to place a long today around 30.6. I got cut. Therefore, I do not want to mess with it until it reaches my key levels, which again are 31K for a short and around 30K for a potential long. So that's what I'm looking at heading into tomorrow and the weekend, Alex. You're on mute.
Sorry about that, folks. Our first mistake of the day. Thanks for that, Nick. I appreciate it, man. Also, remember on Wednesdays when we do our members only AMA, we do not do Squawk Box since this is held at the same time. So that's why we do our little midday coverage right now for you folks. Monte, kick it off. What do you got for us? Ethereum, what's going on?
Yeah, Nick did a great job covering ETH, and I'm seeing, a lot of similarities with Bitcoin. So let's dive just right into the charts and take a look at what ETH is doing. A lot of people have pointed this out. I believe one member of the community pointed this out. We have this sort of head and shoulders formation forming on the daily chart for ETH. That doesn't look all that favorable if you are a bull, in the sense that, if this technical formation were to complete, we'd see a retracement of these kind of arms after the shoulders here. And that would be, likely in the next couple of days. And I think that going back to the CPI print that we got, and let's take a look at the hourly chart. There's a lot of different cues that I like to use to enter a trade, but one of the best ones, I think, is a narrative failure. And I think what we're seeing today is undoubtedly a narrative failure. We had a positive result from a CPI print, and you'd expect to see much more positive price action from Ethereum. Nick, you had posted some projections from JP Morgan about what the S&P might do if we see various numbers, and those have been more or less accurate, maybe a little bit less bullish than expected. As the day continues on, we kind of continue to fall back a little bit. But I think with ETH, this is a clear narrative failure, right? If we're not going to pump on a positive CPI print, or where we beat expectations, then what's going to cause us to pump? In the past, it's been short squeezes, right? That's what propelled us up so high. But if you have positive sentiment, which for ETH right now, we do have positive sentiment, and also it's not being shorted, funding rate's positive, so it's more or less neutral. Volume's down pretty significantly over the last 24 hours. All of those things tell me that ETH is headed back down towards the 1850 level, and possibly even a break below that level to retest all the way down towards 1800. So that would be a completion of the head and shoulders. And whenever you get that sort of, like I said, narrative failure where we have CPI, which should have been a positive catalyst, and it was a positive catalyst for a brief moment in time this morning, then those gains were retraced. That to me is the ultimate sign of weakness and a great trigger for entry. And for me, I think now would be a good time to take on an Ethereum short. So that's what I'm seeing for ETH. I am going to go ahead and enter a short after this episode is over. But I think that, the goal of taking profit around 1850, or if you're a bit more ambitious, shooting for that 1800 target, I think is something that we could see by end of week, just on the back of this kind of narrative failure that we're seeing here today.
Wow. I like the first half of that trade. The second half is definitely ambitious. We'll see. Futures trading. So I want to hear you discuss that if you can.
Yeah, I want to differentiate between the two types of trading that I do and focus on. The first is exactly like what you guys just discussed, longer term secular bets, looking for things, like Coinbase and whatever. And the other is more of a non-correlated, like income type strategy where you're aiming for like 10 to 15% a year with like 5% or less drawdowns. So if it's gone above a 5% drawdown, like the strategy hasn't worked, you haven't done it right. So I want to talk about just like the process and how that's worked this week. Because I have had some losers and some winners. I'm basically flat. But I want to show you like the process of how I go about picking some of these. So starting with the first one, that was Mexican peso earlier in the week. That did not work. I was stopped out. But this is a contrarian type style where you're looking for where a vast majority of traders are crowded, and then trying to pick the inflection points to capture those losses of like a liquidation type, kind of like an event like that. Didn't get it with peso, but the general process is that you look for when positioning in the futures market is skewed in one direction. Green here, that's large speculators. Yellow is small speculators, and then red is commercials. And we want to emulate commercials because they are the producers. They typically have a better understanding of the supply and demand of the underlying asset, and they're not using the market to profit. They're using it to be more conservative and hedge. So typically they're better off. So I took that trade. I was stopped out for 50 basis points. But the other trade that I was actually working that was selected, and these trades have nothing to do whether it's risk on or risk off. Like for instance, this 5-year Tino futures long is actually a risk on trade, whereas the Mexican peso is a risk off trade, shorting it, that is. So even if you're kind of playing a risk on and a risk off trade against one another, one of them can get stopped out for a small gain while the other continues its short squeeze in the opposite direction. Because I'm not really good enough to be able to predict, like long-term direction or short-term direction and succeed in gaining long-term profits as a result. So that's the type of idea. You kind of play these trades against one another, and hopefully one of them wins, one of them loses. Sometimes obviously they both work, and sometimes obviously they both don't work. But as of now, you're starting to see the shorts in the 5-year T-note get squeezed. And we can see that reflected in all of these green large speculators, the most short that they've been in months, actually in years, going back to 2018. So that's notable. The squeeze has the potential to continue. And when you look at other similar trades that have done things this week, like the yen, for instance, you're really seeing that reflected and play out in the DXY as well. So that's kind of the general process. Also, it has to do with betting a very small amount, only risking 50 to 60 basis points per trade. But over time, with only winning like 40 or 35% of the time, you can still be profitable by taking advantage of that positioning.
All right, cool. Something, Nick, I was wondering if possibly you could take the helm on our next segment. And I want to bring the new members who've come over from both Market Rebellion and signed up in the last couple of weeks to be able to explain to them the Trade the Chain dashboard, where everything is and what all the data means, just so they have their first idea and walkthrough of it. After that, of course, we're always in the Discord community 24/7 and can, help remind or refresh people along the way.
Sure thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Trade the Chain dashboard now. So what you're seeing is post login. So, if you're not a member, you won't see this information. But after you do, this is the first page that you'll be hit with. And top of the page is obviously just basically macro data information. So market cap, average sentiment across all coins, trading volume, tweet volume, big jump today. I would assume, around CPI, people are excited. Bitcoin price action, Bitcoin daily sentiment, Ethereum price action, Ethereum daily sentiment. So very useful on first glance. And then we have the hottest on Twitter. So usually, lots of tweets will be correlated with significant price action. Just because there are, plus 300, 200% tweets doesn't mean it will always be bullish. But as you can see here, the majority of coins are bullish in some way, shape, or form. So, lots of tweets definitely correlated with some positive price action. We have our top price gainers here, so you can quickly check what's really revving in the market. And then obviously bottom price losers, what's really, missing in the market as well. So really good here. And I'll sometimes use this, if I'm seeing a coin heavily shorted, maybe good for a long scalp. And if I'm seeing a coin heavily longed, maybe good for a bearish scalp. And as we can see here, this one is growing bearish on the daily sentiment as it rises, which may be an indication of a reversal potentially being on the horizon. So something to watch out for there if you're looking at WRX. And then we have the most bullish coins, which are obviously the most bullish in terms of sentiment, not exactly related to total tweet count, as well as the most bearish coins related to total sentiment, and not always tweet count. So this down here is actually very valuable. This is, what I would consider extremely institutional level data. You can track stablecoin exchange net flows in the past 24 hours. We're seeing a lot of stables leave exchanges, which is typically not indicative of short-term bullishness. We can also see exchange net flows. So which coins are obviously being moved on or moved off exchanges along with their price action. So very valuable here. Seeing a lot of XOR moved on to exchanges. So potentially might want to look out for a short there. Serum as well. And then top contract. So this is just, this encapsulates, meme coins and NFTs. And this will show you their transactions, average transactions. You can learn a little bit more about the Z-score as well, because we have the little question mark bubble here that will show you information related to every single piece of the software that we have. And then degen mode for those who love meme coins and really want to get on top of what's hot, considering I'm watching, Mona coin 26,000%. Whoever traded that is feeling very good today. But if you're seeing coins on here, really good way to track it is, what was a lot of recent swaps and then what also launched high. So Bengal Cat 780% on only 300 swaps. Maybe check that one out and continue down the list to see, Meow coin seems interesting, only 289, 3,000% up. So, very interesting stats on this dashboard as well. Moving over to the coins, which is going to be a little bit more familiar to many of you, CMC style dashboard, but with a lot more data added to it. I'm not going to go over every single column here, but first I want to show you how many columns I don't even have up. So there's a lot of additional information that you can add to this chart that I currently do not have, especially related to intraday price action, as well as total value locked data, which if you track DeFi, is usually a critical metric. And then of course, all the sentiment data you could ask for. So a lot of times how I'll use this is I'll sort by daily sentiment. So we have a very bullish coin, and then I'll typically track that with relative trading volume and then the 1 hour projected range. So let's take helium for an example, because I like what it's telling me right here. We've got very bullish on the hourly, on the hourly sentiment. We've got very bullish on the daily sentiment. We've got increased tweet volume, and we've got plus 120% relative trading volume, and the 1 hour projected range, which is, it's saying that potentially could go up 4.3%, could potentially go down 0.5%, and is likely to go up around 1.93% in the next hour. This all matches up in my book. So therefore, I'm going to check out the helium charts and then continue down my path in terms of assessing trade capabilities. So as we'll see here, massive, wild price action swings. But the fact that it had a massive drop while sentiment is obviously zooming higher means that I'm definitely still looking at this for maybe a potential scalp higher, or maybe buy it right around the support level. So there's a lot of ways that you can check this out, and we'll look at hourly sentiment as well. It has spiked up while price is forming this bottom near these lows. So could potentially be a good long scalp higher if that suits your interest. But let's move back to the basic coins page. And you can obviously sort by all of these columns as well. So if you want to see what's got the most trading volume, this NEM coin plus 1600%, Golem, these are a lot of Dino coins, but you're still seeing crazy price action swings. The most coins with the highest relative trading nearly all have high intraday price action or high intra-week price action. So therefore, this is a really good metric to start with, and then you can compare it with daily sentiment, 1 hour price interest, or 1 hour price projections, as well as intraday movements, and track the several coins that you want to attack for the day. Now, just moving into the Bitcoin chart, let me refresh it so we have up-to-date data. You can see here, we've been mostly bullish, and as you can see here, price flattened and has slowly been inching higher. Sentiment is moving a little bit higher, meaning that traders are definitely getting a little bit more bullish as price is reaching that mid 30, low 30K level. So if we do hold 30K, then and sentiment is still rising, that's another indication of longs, and that supports kind of the trade thesis that I talked about earlier today. So in addition to the sentiment data, of course, hourly and weekly, you can also see, your basic market information here. So if you just want to track Bitcoin, you just want to track Ethereum, you don't want to track anything else, you can get all of your basic, the CMC style dashboard information on this page as well, which is extremely helpful. And then if you're a new member or you've been around for a while and you don't exactly, have all of the trading techniques down, or just want to learn more information, this bootcamp is free to everybody. So if your brother, sister, mom, dad, whoever wants to learn along with what you're doing and they're curious, you can show them this. And this will we have a full academy section, we have videos, we have resources, and we also have a PDF guide that's very simple and easy to understand with several different trading techniques using the Trade the Chain dashboard. And one thing, we also have Crypto Watch price charts. Sometimes, when I get overloaded on RAM, my dashboards will slip up. So apologies on that. But we do have in-app charting available as well if you do not want to use TradingView and you want to keep everything centralized to the Trade the Chain dashboard. So that's the bulk of it. And I should mention, everybody should know that we have the community section. If you click that button, it's going to be a Discord link, and then it will redirect you into Discord once my screen loads right here. See, open app, and then it'll send me straight into Trade the Chain. And there is, I don't think I'm sharing my Discord screen, but that'll take you straight into Trade the Chain. So I think that's it, Alex. Did I miss anything that is worth bringing up?
No, I did. Listen, I was going to do it, but then I heard you explaining it to someone yesterday. I was like, Nick did a darn fine job in a short amount of time. So I wanted you to be the star of that last minute. One thing I will share with folks real quick, And Nick does use a lot of energy when it comes to his computer. But yeah, if you go to, let's pick Ethereum. Here's the Crypto Watch charts. All your TA tools right here, the drop downs, everything you need to do. And so you can toggle between that and price versus sentiment. One thing I'll say, if you're doing the 1-day sentiment, I would click on the hourly sentiment button for the 1-day. Here you can see the price in blue and sentiment in red and green. And then when you go to the 7-day, I would switch that hourly sentiment back into the daily sentiment range. So that way you get more of the flow. And then, of course, able to do any of your TA from these charts, able to extend it and move it around. A lot of good stuff within here. So let's see. Also make it full screen, expand it, all those fun little features. So another thing is we have the, this is what the Discord looks like, if you could see it. When you click on the community, this is where all the fine folks are. We have everything from the Crypto Millionaire Inner Circle, TradFi Inner Circle, Water Cooler. We have the Winner Circle where posted wins go, the Squawk Box where all the market update information is. I know Nick goes in there early in the morning, gets that out. We have a help channel 24/7. Go to the help channel, ask us or any of the members, for any assistance there. And we have quite a few that we'll delve into next week as well, which includes DeFi, NFTs, the metaverse, and meme coins. Another thing to show you, if you go on the side of each page is the alerts. On this alert, you toggle that out, and this is literally curated important news that's hitting the wire as you see it in real time. And this is this is all really good stuff throughout the day right here. Look at this. Silk Road linked Bitcoin worth 300 million moved by the U.S. government, according to on-chain data. We also have wrecked. We have liquidations here. So these are liquidated longs and shorts. We also have whale alerts. So here's real-time whale alerts throughout the day on various big money movements in crypto. So don't forget about those. Also, if you see a token and you say, let's go to Compound, COMP right here on one of the hottest on Twitter. Don't know where to trade it? Go to where to trade. Just type in the ticker, comp, and there you go, Compound. And here are all your venues to trade it. Okay, so if you need to find a home for that arbitrage, this will show you where to do it. Also, another thing on members' resources. So we do have these informational shorts for basic functionality of the Spotlight or of the dashboards and the education guide. But we also have Discord help. I know that a lot of new members, some of them struggle with Discord, and that's okay. You just click here, and there's a step-by-step guide to Discord and solving any problems, as well as you can always contact this email right here, support@tradethechain.com. That is a centralized help desk. Okay, anybody from the team will be able to help you. That email is monitored most of the 24 hours. But yeah, hit it up, support@tradethechain. We'll always help you out. One last thing here, let's see, is I want to hit settings. Now, this is important for a lot of transitional accounts. So this is, if you hit settings in your dashboards, this is where you control what email you want to use, what password you want to use, if you want to change your password. And then also really important thing, guys, we've had a few members get stuck up on this, that transition from Market Rebellion. We don't get any of the membership plan billing information. So even though we set up your accounts, you're still going to have to go into this billing portal and put your credit card in to keep going, because none of that gets shared between Market Rebellion and Trade the Chain. It's all privacy stuff. We don't even get the information. It just goes to our payment processor. So in order to do that, go to the billing portal right here, click on that, enter your information. It goes to Stripe. We don't see it, none of that stuff. It's not our business. And that's the rundown. So thanks, Nick, for letting me be the second half of that. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, there's a Discord question.
Yeah, right as you were talking about it, Alex, you actually were answering the question as if you were.
As if I knew what was happening.
Yeah, it was actually pretty impressive. But yeah, like Alex said, we're always happy to help if anyone has any questions with Discord. CJ and I have, discussed with people on Twitter about how to get in. We've gotten them access. So yeah, whatever we need to do to get you guys in, get you guys participating in this discussion, we will do. So definitely take advantage of those resources.
I think the main thing for customers coming over from Market Rebellion who have had trouble with the Discord is that you just need to have your Discord account with the same email as what you signed up with the prior Market Rebellion email. That's where most people's problems have been coming from. So that would be like the first thing I would check out if you're having any trouble migrating. But it seems like we've had a lot of you guys come over. So really grateful to see you in chat and looking forward to, continued participation as we continue this journey.
Absolutely. There also, I will say, we have had a lot of people come over, and we also have had a decent amount not come over. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the welcome email resent to everybody again today who hasn't come over, because we get to see if you've accepted the first one. But sometimes it goes to spam. Sometimes people miss it because we all get a ton of emails. So if you're wondering where your account is or you haven't seen anything, either email support at Trade the Chain, and we'll get you solved real quick. Otherwise, you're going to get a resend of that welcome email, which has a step-by-step guide to get you up and running real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Discord. Well, we're solving Discord help right here. Perfect.
It can be very busy or look a little confusing on first glance, but if it was just one giant chat room, we wouldn't be able to send you trade information or macro markets information in a very condensed, flowy manner. And then we have, Crypto Millionaire and TradeFi Millionaire for general conversation or, immediately actionable things that we want everybody to know. And then, when you're talking about announcements or TTC Squawk Box, those are for, trade specific information or, company specific information. And everything else is, basically just information or feed channels so that you don't have to go on Twitter or email or wherever to get that information.
Absolutely. And I see, like Gabrielle right here, she used to use AOL chat and stuff like that. I'll tell you, coming over from TradFi in New York, we all used AOL chat. That's, it was Bloomberg chat, but that's what we used.
Well, you're not talking about your BlackBerry days either, Alex. I was expecting
that was during the BlackBerry days.
To hear that.
We had BlackBerry, we had BB chat. And one of the things that we really like about Discord and why we spent the time to build it out is it has a lot of different features. But sticking with the dialogue portion, you have these individual channels which are thematic and in their own right, and so it lets you compartmentalize a lot of the discussions that you're having with other members or having with us, as well as you don't get things lost, right? So, for instance, if you're using AOL chat or even if you're in a WhatsApp group or something like that, you'll lose conversations as they go away. Here, there's full search functionality. There's really cool tools that we put in, whether it's for charting or various news pieces. So it's really robust. There's the app for your iPhone. I keep the app on my desktop and my iPhone. But Discord is definitely the number one way to be a part of a community.
Yeah, not to turn this into a Discord infomercial, but
Wait, are
I
we
think-
getting paid by Discord, man?
we should be. We should be. But yeah, the mobile app is definitely a game changer. And I think Gabby and Chris, you guys in the chat, you'll see it. That's maybe the biggest benefit is how solid their mobile app is. It's just like using the desktop. It's very powerful. You get push notifications, so you don't miss out on anything. Whereas, before when you're dealing with the Market Rebellion app, it was hard to get push notifications, hard for us to get information directly to you. This allows us to, basically have access to you, or you to have access to us 24/7 via your phone or your desktop.
Yeah, and to just build on that, Monte, we have certain SIG dev alerts that come out, as well as we're instituting trading alerts. We have, I think, buy and sell signals and certain recommendations coming out. And so another reason why we put them in different channels is so you could set alerts to those channels that only produce those. And so when your phone beeps or buzzes, it's not nonsense, or let's say stuff that you don't want to pay attention to coming from a general chat channel. It is specific to that channel. So that's one way to customize alerts, so that when the phone goes off, it's something that you deem important and activated. Can we never
right.
speak?
I think we're good on Discord.
Do we need to spell it? D-I.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I know we always forget something, guys. So, like I said, pop in, into that thing I can't mention anymore, community, and let us know if there's more questions. If you have trouble popping into that what I can't mention anymore community, you can go and email us at support@tradethechain.com. And one of us will get in and solve your issues. So, other than that, we're around. You have access to us 24/7 now. So, anything else, guys?
I think that's it. I will just preface, I think it's going to be some gross trading throughout July. I think that's just how it's going to be. People are taking a break. Q2 is getting started, vacation time, typically lower volumes in the summer. So I just want to preface, I'm not expecting too much action in July, but I would be shocked if we're below 28K or below 1,800 on Bitcoin and ETH by the time it ends. So.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, Chris, we've all been warned. There was a meeting about you the other day. Folks, thanks a lot for joining. And for the people who missed this live, it is being posted onto the YouTube channel for viewing tomorrow. So everybody else, thank you very much. Have fun. Good luck trading. Hang on to your handlebars. And we'll see you on the regular programming tomorrow.